Hi everyone. So in today's new episode, I have with me a childhood friend. I'm super excited today, to share some good memories as well and also know about his entrepreneurial journey, which has been really exciting and commendable. So today I have with me a special guest. It's Dhimaan Shah, and he is the co-founder and co-CEO of the ISPRAVA group. So welcome, Dhimaan, to this episode of mine. I'm so thrilled that you are part of this, and your company has been growing. I think it's one of the fastest growing companies in India. And I'm super thrilled to know about your journey and how have you built this company. So, first of all, to begin with, and for everyone to know, what is Isprava?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Siddhant. Really glad to be here and really glad to chat with you. Especially, since we go way back, it's just a great to reconnect even on a personal basis. So I'll just tell you, what the Isprava group is about, right? We are a stable of luxury lifestyle brands. Two brands happen to operate in real estate, one in hospitality, and in the future there might be more in different spaces. But I mean, the way we fundamentally think of ourselves and the way we're fundamentally structured is to be a luxury lifestyle group. Within the Isprava group, we have three brands. One is Isprava. What Isprava does is we build, what I like to think, and hopefully you do too, some of the most beautiful homes in the world, right? And these are, we're focused on what we call non-urban locations. So Goa, Alibag, Kasoli, and yeah, these are the three in Isprava. I'll get to the chapter next, which is the second brand, which is similar but more locations. We then have the second brand, which is called the Chapter. The Chapter is also a luxury real estate brand where we operate in Goa, Alibag, and Karjat. Very simply, in both the brands, what we do is we build, like I said, what I'd like to think some of the most beautiful homes in the world. Isprava is a higher price point. Chapter is a little more of an accessible price point in the luxury space. So to give you context, Isprava is about, our most inexpensive home begins at about $1 million and goes upwards, while the Chapter hovers in and around about $500,000 to, 750K. The third brand we have is Lohono. Lohono is a hospitality brand where we manage and rent out some of, these stunning homes across the country and across Southeast Asia as well. So within India, when, 25, 30 locations from Kashmir to, you know, many parts of Rajasthan to many parts of Maharashtra to obviously Goa, to the hills in the south and so on and so forth, right? So, and we're in Southeast Asia as well, through a exclusive partnership with the group there, and that's your Phuket, Bali, Koh Samui, and so on. So in total in Lohono we have about uh, north of about 350, properties up for rent. These are short-term rents, and they're fully managed, very exclusive, very high-end. In Isprava and the Chapter, if you look at it collectively, we've now delivered about 175 homes to date,
Wow.
have been delivered and handed over.
Wow.
And we have close to 400 homes under construction, of which 95% of them would be sold already. So that's, at a very high level, what the group does. And it's been about an 8-year-old journey since we started.
Okay. So that's amazing. Yeah, I think kudos to you and Nibrant. So Nibrant is his elder brother, who also I've known for a long time. If it's amazing that with the stuff which you guys are doing, and especially I've been to Goa so many times. I've also stayed in your properties, and I have to say, it's just a different feeling altogether. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Okay, so my next question, Dhiman, would be, like today, building is Prava. You have been in the market for a while now, and people know your brand. But if I have to see Isprava probably 5 years down the line, where do I see your brand?
It's a great question, and it's a question that we obviously have to ask ourselves very often, right? Especially when you're growing at a certain, pace and scale, You're deeply involved in every aspect of the business. What's very important is to keep zooming out, right? And to keep setting context and set a broad strategy, right? And to which you can then execute. And I think, look, Siddhant, I think it's very simple. For ISPRAVA, the business we're in, especially in ISPRAVA and the chapter, right? It doesn't warrant too much lateral sideway expansion. The way it works really well is to actually go much deeper in the locations we're already in and present in, right? Goa, Alibag, Kasoli, Karjat, right? These are locations we're already present in. And these are locations where we believe there's just such depth, right, for our business. There's so much demand. If you do it right, there's enough, you have enough of the supply side with you as well. And as you scale, you get more efficient, you have deeper relationships. So, I think the next 5 years is just going to be a lot of intense focus on scaling the organization and scaling it in an incredibly sustainable way while keeping very, very true to our core value system, right? And that is a really important thing. That's something that we've, really, really obsessed over. And I think it's helped us, right? I mean, small things, right? Like you have to remember, Siddhant, we are uh, we don't just lead the category that we operate in. We created this category. This
Right.
category didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Luxury homes in non-urban locations. People thought we were crazy, right? We created this category. Obviously, we lead it, but we created it, right? And when you create a category, there's a lot, especially even with Lohono. Even with Lohono, this category didn't exist, right? Luxury villas which you could rent on a short-term basis with full service. It didn't exist. We kind of created it, and hence we lead it now. Isprava, of course, we were by far the pioneers of the
Yeah.
space, right? And if you think about it, right, our definition of things is very different from everyone else, right? For us, and this ties into this vision of the next 5 years, right? And for us, luxury isn't marble, flown in from Italy and glossy floors, right? For us, luxury, and that's what we think about very deeply every day, right? Is what do we really mean by luxury, and hence what are we providing to our not just our clients, but our entire ecosystem, right? A local Goan is very much part of our ecosystem and we owe them something, right? And to be a luxury brand, you have to ensure you do things the right way, right? Are you truly elevating the quality of life of your home buyer, right? And that doesn't, like I said, not in a material way, right? I don't mean by automated curtains and marble, right? I mean, are there children because of what you have provided? Are there children breathing better air, right? Are they now spending a lot more time in nature because of what you've done,
Right.
right? Are you using indigenous materials when you're building because that creates sustainability and longevity, right? Are you giving back to the community you're operating in, right? Does the local school now actually have toilets for the children and they didn't before you came, right? To us, all of this is actually luxury.
Yeah.
These are the things that have really worked for us, and these are things we'll double down on over the next 5 years, while obviously scaling the business as an organization.
That's a very nice thought, Dhiman. I think I need to give you full credit, if you're thinking of the people, this is something, which very few people do, but it's truly, truly commendable that your vision forward is taking the people with you who are also even like locals living in those cities. So it's amazing to think of them.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it has to be that way, right? I don't think that's
yeah,
optional. It has to be a core part of your DNA while you're building, and I think it's important.
yeah,
So
it is very
for us, it's a
important.
core value.
Right. Also, tell me something. So, when someone comes to buy a property at Isprava or
Yeah.
rent out a property, how do y'all come in play, that they're making the right kind of investment in your property?
Yeah. Again, really good question, right? And I think this is something that we again have kind of developed over time, right? We initially obviously did a lot of it ourselves, and now we've kind of developed an organization that where a lot of this is kind of institutionalized, right? I think a few things. Number one, we don't view ourselves, and no one on our client-facing team view themselves as salespeople. Uh, Client relationships, none of that, right? What we fundamentally think and how we fundamentally go about it is, look, someone making an investment with us, right? An 8 crore, 10 crore, 5 crore, 4 crore, any investment with us is not something to be taken frivolously. It's important. It's a responsibility that you're taking, right? You're taking someone's money and you're delivering something to them, right? So fundamentally, we have obviously a team of people who will engage with the client, right? But the way we engage with the client is very, very unique, right? And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Number one, no one is incentivized to sell the most expensive thing ever. Never. They are incentivized to do what is right for the client.
Right.
Very, very often, and I mean this, if you talk to our clients as well, right? 60 to 70% of them will say, when I first bought a home with Isprava, I actually bought the most inexpensive home available. And hey, and they'll say, hey, Isprava recommended I do that,
Oh, very
right?
good.
And we do that 60 to 70% of the time. We're recommending because it's what's right for the client. The remaining 30 to 40%, it's right for them to get a bigger home for whatever reason. They might have a family that's very
Yeah.
large, or they might use the home. So it's obviously we work the other way. We don't work as per, hey, what's best for us? Let's put that onto the client. It's, hey, what's right for the client, right? Will inevitably be what's right for us. So
Right.
don't worry about selling the most expensive home. We don't want you to do that. We want you to ensure that your client is the happiest client there is, right? He or she needs to just be so happy, comfortable, safe, and secure with you, right? You need to consult with them. You need to actually sit on their side of the table, not on the side of the table of the company, right? The company will benefit if they benefit. Simple. We have and of course around that there's a lot of rigor, systems, processes, all of that that comes in, right? But I think it's fundamentally truly understand the client's needs, truly understand why the client is making this investment. That's point one. Point two, take that investment with great responsibility. Don't be frivolous about it because it's someone's hard-earned money and there's an investment. Um, Tie that in with a very core value of Isprava's, which is that, hey, when you're buying a home with us, you're not just spending money on something, you're actually buying an asset for
Right.
you to use and then pass on to future generations, and your next generation will pass it on to the next generation. So take it like that as well, right? Ensure that you're advising them correctly. Uh, and third is, of course, do the right thing with your clients. Do what's right for them because what's right for them will be right for us. So
Right.
that's broadly, how, of course, at a high, if we had 2 hours, I'd really take you down into every little, detail. But broadly, that's how we approach every client decision and advice.
Do you have any kind of a memory of any particular client in your mind that you have sold a nice house to them? Anything in your mind which you think, comes across?
I'll tell you, Siddhant, we have a lot of clients, fortunately. And with each one of them, we actually become very close. We become like personal friends. You end up, going to dinners to their homes and they come to yours and so on and so forth. It's the nature of our business. It's one of the, I guess the big advantages of our business is you become really good friends with a lot of interesting people from different walks of life. So I have obviously have many, many different varied experiences. But I think so maybe not one specific incident or one specific experience, but I think to us, I think the most memorable clients, every client matters, and hugely. The most memorable clients will be our early clients, right? These are people who you have to understand made fairly large investments with us when we had no brand, right? They were really just banking on us, and really bought into the vision of what we were doing. And I think those clients will always be the most memorable because those experiences, like these were people who were established, huge entrepreneurs and businessmen. These were some guys who were startup founders. There were some guys who were like a very famous cricketer, right? These guys had every option in the world available to them, right? But they kind of banked on us and they took that chance on us in the early days. And I think that those clients will always be the most memorable because it's different to do it once a brand is established. It's different when you're doing it when a brand isn't. And these are the guys who really did it with us then. So they'll always be the most memorable.
Lovely. Tell me something, Dhimaan. Today a lot of youth, ask me, they want to become an entrepreneur. Don't know how, especially the young age, I would say, the generation which we have now, I would say the Gen
Yeah.
Zs or, so, they want to actually get into being an entrepreneur. So what are the kind of message would you give them? A nice positive message to the entire community, as being as one of your, looking at yourself as being such a successful entrepreneur. What is something which you would like to tell them?
Uh, I'm not very good at giving advice, but let me try to do it differently. What I'll do is I'll kind of put out three or four things that I live by, right? And I think I keep reminding myself about, right? And it's been helpful. I think first and foremost, do the right thing always, right? You will always be at a crossroad to make a decision. And if you're not sure of a decision, it isn't as clear, or it isn't, just do the right thing. And most things then fall in place after that, as long as you're doing the right thing. And I don't mean to only a client, or I mean to everyone, right? Just do the right thing to your vendors, do the right thing to your clients, do the right thing for your ecosystem that you operate in, right? Just do the right thing you'll automatically start attracting the right people, and you'll start and the right circumstances will create themselves because you have done the right thing three decisions ago.
Mm.
So I think that's point one. Point two would be just obsessively focus on your clients, right? They are the beating heart of your business, right? Any business, no matter what business you're in, your client is what makes you. So just focus obsessively over them, understand them, and it'll also give you, your clients are the ones who are going to give you where to expand next, how to expand next, right? You have to link your growth plans to what your clients want, not what you want, right? So if you're listening to your clients and obsessing over them, you'll know what's next for you. I think the third thing that has been a learning for me, and I think it's super critical, is just take your time. In almost no situation is anything ever running away, right? Just take your time. Do things the right way. Don't be too hasty on making a decision. Obviously, don't be indecisive. But take your time to think through what you're doing. No market is running away. No, nothing is running away, right? Just take your time, but do it the right way then, and then be decisive. And fourthly, I think the most important is just execute relentlessly, right? You can talk strategy forever. You can always have one, oh, could I have made a better decision there? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? Just execute relentlessly. That is a true superpower of a business and an entrepreneur, right? Is that person's ability to really get things done, right? And execute relentlessly, and the whole organization to execute relentlessly. I think those will be my, key 3 to 4 takeaways so far. And these are the 3, 4 things that I really, really try and keep reminding myself every day.
I think what you said is, bang on. I think people who are watching us today also, it's so inspiring when you say these words, directly from you to them. I'm sure every person who's watching us today would be so inspired by your journey and the positive message
Thank
which you've also given to the community. So this now comes to my fun round, Dhimaan. This is just to know you more personally. It's going to be my
you.
fun rapid fire round. So
Sure.
people, yeah,
Oh,
people know the corporate demand. So now I want to know the personalized and the soft nature, soft-hearted nature which you have, which I've known for so many years. I would like that to come out in some of your favorites. So, um,
sure, sure.
so-
You're too kind, Siddhant, but I'll happy to do this.
okay, so great. So let's start. So, what is your favorite holiday destination, the amount which you can probably go 7 days a week without blinking an eyelid?
Goa.
Okay.
And it's not just a holiday destination. It's a hardcore work, but hands down, it's my happy place, Goa.
Your favorite cuisine, which you can probably binge on or eat, 7 days a week again.
Yeah, it's a hard question because of the 7 days a week question.
Yeah.
It would have to be that typical Indian Chinese.
Okay.
That would be my 7 day a week. If it came down to that, Indian Chinese.
Okay. What is the current, which kind of music do you like, when you're really stressed and, you just want to just hear some good music and you just want to relax, what is that kind of music you go to?
I'm laughing because I'm not much of a music person. I almost never go to music when I want to relax. So
Okay.
I mean, I enjoy music, but I don't have a favorite. It's not my, I don't go there. I don't listen to music to relax. Let's put it that way. So I honestly don't have an answer for you here.
Okay. Tell me something. So what is your current read, your favorite current read?
I'm reading I've actually read a bunch of really good books. I read a lot. So there's a trilogy, and I like historical fiction. I like history. I like all of that. So I think one of them would be this. It's a trilogy about Alexander of Macedonia, Alexander the Great, um, uh, by this Italian author. So I think that would be my favorite read, and I'm actually just finishing the third book right now. So That would be my favorite read. The other read I really liked was it's an autobiography, and it's called The Gambler. So really worth reading, and again, something that I love reading.
Okay. Tell me one thing also, what according to you is the difference between the millennials and Gen Zs of today?
Which one is millennial? Which one is Gen Z? Sorry, I'm actually very
No, I would
I
be
don't know which.
so our generation would be the millennials, and now
Right.
and the future ones which are like coming up, they would
Yeah.
be the Gen Z. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think there are a few differences. Number one, I think Gen Zs, and maybe this is true of just every generation, right? I think are far smarter, far more intelligent than us, right? And maybe that's a function of exposure. Maybe that's a function of a whole host of things, right? So I think Gen Zs are far more, are far smarter. They are obviously there's a lot to learn from them, right? Because of just the vast amount of technology they are exposed to, that no matter how much we get exposed, it's not in our muscle memory as much as it's in theirs, because they've grown up literally from day zero with it, right? In the 90s, you didn't have cell phones, for example, right? So I think that's one. But I think but conversely, right? I think millennials have an incredible work ethic, right? And there's a lot to learn from that as well, right? Your millennials are the ones who just work hard, right, and make sure things get done. So I think these would be your three major differences, according to me.
Okay. And my last rapid fire question would be, what is that one motto you stand by?
I've said it four times in this conversation. I'll say it the fifth, but it's just do the right thing as much as you can. Do the right thing. It, it's so underappreciated. But to do the right thing is, I think, what really sets you apart from everyone else.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Dhimaan. It was lovely chatting with you, and taking out the time to do this chat with me has been truly wonderful. A lot of people have got to know about, who's watching us, what is the amazing work your company has been doing, and
Thank you.
wishing you all the very best for all your projects, your upcoming projects, and your future projects. So, thanks once again for giving your time and doing this with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Siddhant,
And I
and
look
look forward
forward to
to
seeing
chatting
you in
soon.
Bombay next time when I'm there.
100%, 100%.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye, Siddhant.